Hi guys, it's me, it's Hadi Nakwi here again. I'm in a very quiet, beautiful area. Go ahead, mate, take a look. Just before the big stuff takes place, I'm with Connor from TUC. Sorry, Connor, I forgot how to pronounce your name.
Conor McGurran.
See, I'm not good with foreign names.
It's the Irish heritage.
But I'm with Connor. Connor's giving me his time, and I'm really honoured and thankful for this because he's an extremely busy guy. He's dealing with the communication side as well as some of the media elements, but more importantly, he's giving me this time today to actually explain what this event is all about and why some of the trade unions have come together under the TUC banner to be here to not only lobby Parliament but also talk to the MPs and represent what's going on with the cost of living crisis. So Connor, feel free.
Yeah, so basically we've got a couple of hundred people that have already come through to meet their MPs, hopefully loads more throughout the afternoon. And basically what we've got is union members from up and down the country meeting their local constituency MP to talk about the cost of living crisis, how it's affecting them, people in their community, their families, and also some other kind of union issues that we've got. So for example, there's anti-union legislation being tabled right now that threatens the right to strike. It's specific to the transport sector at the moment, but you know it could well be rolled out further, and so we really got to fight that tooth and nail. So we've got loads of members from RMT and other transport unions that are here to speak to their MPs about that. We're also calling for a £15 minimum wage, number of other policy issues, but really it's about these union members talking about their own experience, getting in front of MPs at this time where a new government's forming and saying, look, we don't need, you know, like a Liz Truss government, tax cutting agenda for the rich, crashing the economy. What we need is investment in our communities, get wages rising, support with the cost of living, and that's what it's all about today. And then tonight we've got a huge rally with general secretaries from lots of unions speaking, and also frontline key workers who've been on strike over the last year or are about to go on strike, talking about exactly why they're doing that and how we can bring unions together to fight back really and to win better wages and working conditions.
And the big thing behind it is that, we are fighting for you guys, all of us. I know with USDOR, we've actually passed a motion at our annual delegates meeting in Blackpool this year to push for £15 per hour from all employers. So we passed that as a motion, as a proposition, and we are fighting for it at this moment in time. There's a lot of the supermarkets who are looking at their pay reviews, and with a great deal of the negotiators in there, they are pushing up the wages. It's not quick enough, and of course, the TUC itself has done a great job on TikTok and some of the videos that they have put out there to illustrate why you need to invest in the UK in the workforce, because then that workforce with their pay will reinvest back into the UK, keep the money in here, keep the taxation here that can then be reinvested back into UK PLC. We don't understand what's going on with the current government and why they're looking at tax cutting. Well, now they're looking at tax rises with Rishi Sunak. Yes, it's calmed down the market a bit, but what do you think is going to be the sort of best solution for us?
Well, I think what we've seen, exactly as you've described, is a financial crisis that was completely created by a Tory government, and as a result of that, trying to cut taxes for the rich. We're now going to see tax rises across the board, for all of us, ordinary working people on ordinary salaries, not the super rich. That are just going to pay the price. So that is going to be a real challenge, and what we need to see is an economic shift and a shift in terms of priorities, and how we're going to do that is having workers from different industries, USDOR, retail, we've got RMT, in transport, we've got Unison, all the unions are here today, and we're going to bring all of them together to say that actually what we need is across all sectors to get wages rising, not just focusing on one industry. We need to do this collectively, we need to do it together, and hopefully today can be the start of that. We had a national demonstration in June, we've had town hall events up and down the country in different constituencies, and this is a national event in London to bring things together, but hopefully we can support unions to run local activity in your areas in the months to come as well.
I mean, one of the big things that Mick Lynch always talks about is that inflation is already here. So now is the reason to push up the wages because the inflation is here. One of the big things that has happened because of I'm going to say social media is one of the biggest reasons behind it, is that when unions have taken industrial action, gone into strikes, like we've seen with the RMT, ASLEF, the CWU, Communications Workers Union, that represents Royal Mail, Unite, Unison, all these guys. The public in the past used to be against it, but every time that you hear, the local radio now and so on and so forth, you hear the public backing up the strikes. They may be inconvenienced by it, but they're backing it up. Why do you think that's been a tonal shift in society?
It's a really good point, and I think it's because you've seen over the last 12 years that people's standard of living has been squeezed, and to a point where now, when we have these double shocks of coming out of the pandemic, cost of living crisis, energy bills rising,
austerity,
the impacts of austerity, all of that has come together to people can understand that even if you're in a job that's considered a relatively well-paid job, a relatively family unit, let's say, not just on your own, even people like that are struggling to make ends meet. So let alone the single parent, let alone the person on the minimum wage. So I think people have a shared understanding now that actually we need to get wages rising if people are going to get a good standard of living back again. And I think you're totally right about the rail strikes, which traditionally are strikes that would be less popular because there is a disruption there to a public service. The government gambled and thought these are going to be really unpopular, but what we actually saw is that in the polls during the rail strikes over the summer in the first round, they actually got more popular as the strikes went on and not less, and traditionally you might expect the opposite. I think Mick and others have done a fantastic job of communicating what the strikes are about, and pushing back against some of the kind of myths about unions, and I think we have to continue doing that, because over this winter period we've currently got teachers being balloted by the NEU and NASUWT, obviously the CWU strikes, we've got ballots in health with Unison, Unite, RCM, many other unions as well. So I think we might be seeing more action, and we've just got to support each other in different industries.
The funny thing is, the strike work action has worked for someone that you would think would be ultra rich, with the solicitors and the criminal barristers. They were earning, when I heard this from one of the local MPs on LBC, they were saying that they were earning less than what a supermarket worker is earning, and spending all day in court for £94 for the day. That's terrible. And again, I don't understand it. In the UK, we seem to have highly educated get the poorly paid. Teachers, highly educated, poor paid. So, the criminal lawyers, highly educated, poorly paid. I don't understand why this is always the case, but again, with guys like you out there on the front line fighting for people's rights, I think that there's going to be a redress in the near future.
Yeah, and to you, all the work you're doing in Usdaw and in the retail sector is vital, and that is exactly what we need. And you're right about those industries, and I think the solicitor strike's an interesting one, because the other thing that they were striking for, as well as their own pay, is actually the quality of service that they're able to provide, and that is going to be the case in a lot of these ballots over winter as well, in education, in health. People are not just sick of being poorly paid, they're actually sick of not feeling that they can do their jobs properly because of the years of austerity that we've had, the lack of investment, the lack of staffing. And I think that's another reason there's been support for the strikes, because they can see this is not just about wages, even though that is important. It's also about dignity at work and being able to provide a good service if it's a strike in a public service as well.
I know that Brexit has I'll go back to the B word, because let's face it, a lot of legislation that people wanted to be away from the European side of things, this government hasn't done anything. They've not done anything to help with workers' rights, to help with trade. If anything, the trade deals that had been made were worse than what we had when, and Femi is one of these guys who goes out there and promotes this. They were far worse for the workers. We've actually lost money rather than making money. Come on, guys, if you're within government, start looking at yourselves. You're supposed to be like the best of the business guys out there, but if anything, you're piss poor. Sorry, I won't edit that one out either. But guys, if you're not, Connor, I know you're gonna have to get back now. Thank you so much for giving me this time. I really appreciate this. If you're not a member of a trade union, look at the TUC website, see which trade union you need to belong to, join it, It doesn't cost the earth, but they will give you back the earth, quite literally. They've done a hell of a lot for me. I'm going to be doing one of the TUC's free courses, which was on employment law in January. Had I had to go into university, you know what the fees are going to be. So to get something like this for free is amazing. So go out there, check, become a member of your trade union, and remember, we're fighting for you guys. Yeah. If you guys don't understand that, you all need to go back to school. So says Harry Nackery with Connor, something or another.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.